welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM, McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
This is Finish Line.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.
This is Finish Line. Undisputed, unrealistic, unscripted, and unrehearsed. This is Finish Line, a weekly podcast talking about the positive and negative of motorsports, asking the questions to drivers, promoters, and personalities, getting the information and responses of the sport others dare not to ask or even discuss. This is Finish Line. This radio podcast is from the heart, an in-depth analysis of everything in NASCAR, NHRA, IHRA, IndyCar, grassroots motorsports, asphalt, dirt, drag racing, karting, tractor pulling, boat racing, demolition derbies, and much more. From touring events to national, regional, weekly, and more. This is the podcast where the bull stops here. Whether it's asphalt, dirt, or drag racing, or anything else in life, there is always a finish line. Now, he's a respected veteran broadcaster with over 20-plus years experience calling all forms of sports for public address, TV, and radio, from NASCAR to the grassroots. Please welcome your host, Wesley Outland. This is Finish Line.
Into another edition of the Finish Line Motorsports Show, Wednesday, January 18th. I am Wesley Outland, always joined by my cohort, Charles Wooten, in the house. Charles, jump on here, brother. Let's see you today. What do you got going on in your life? The music is gone though. Where did the music go?
What? Let's get the music back before we do anything.
Bring the
there
music
we go.
There you go.
We got to find my camera. We got a new camera, so there we go. We had to find it for a minute, so I do apologize.
In Wichita Falls, Texas, my producer, guy in my ear, as I always say, the God in my ear, Charles Wooten. Charles, what's up, brother?
Well, like I said, enjoying the new cam. You get to see all the monitors, 6 monitors behind me now.
I'm digging it.
And this
I've got a checkered flag chroma key in the background, and you got a literally mission control, as they call it. But all this is because of Charles. Okay, without this, none of this is possible.
It's true. Yeah, we got. Totally different green screen, and then this isn't my good camera, by the way. We're actually getting the Face Cam Pro, but it's been delayed coming out due to shortage. So we're just waiting till about the first week in February before we can get that.
Well, that's not good. No, definitely we need to get you your toys. We know you love playing with your toys.
Oh,
the electronics world is like toys for you, for sure. Definitely.
Yes, it is.
How's the week been, man? How was the weekend?
Weekend was good. It could be a little better. We only had one broadcast this week, and we're not going to talk about that too much till the last segment. So if people don't know, they're going to hear an interesting story about that one.
Yeah, we've got a very interesting segue coming into our rant segment. I think it's something that we might do new with Charles and Wesley every final guest. I think we're going to cut down to about 5 guests a week. And we're going to have a final segment where Charles just goes off the cuff. And if he goes into overtime, I'm the one that's got to tell him, hey, we're past the hour. We got to go off the air. So that way we know we get off at the top of the hour. And if we don't, then it's your fault because you're still ranting and raving.
Hey, that works.
I think it'll be a great idea. So, anyhow, let's tell everybody real quickly what happened is before we get our guest lineup in here, and that's one of your rants. We did a broadcast last night, and you have done a phenomenal job in updating the iRacing quality of the events in 4K. And basically, you did a broadcast last night. I was in the booth on call with Brockton Packard. And I guess he got flagged by NASCAR Media Group at probably about 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock last night because I couldn't even go back myself and look at the replay of it.
Yeah, we got back this morning when I checked it, and sometime last night, there's less than a minute segment in there. It's about 50 seconds, 40 seconds like that, the NASCAR Media Group flagged our video and said that it was a clip from a NASCAR Truck Series practice. So I feel bad for the whoever flagged that can't tell a super late model from a truck, but we did dispute it, so they got 48 hours and we'll get it back. So yeah, interesting turn of events last night.
That is very, 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 very funny. Hey, by the way, breaking news. Do we have any breaking news? A little bing, bing, bing. We had him on finish line. We had had him on finish line last week, as a matter of fact, before ARCA testing down in Daytona. And it is official. Sellers Racing Incorporated and Landon Pimbleton announced commitment to run full-time in the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour for 2023. So that's pretty damn cool. Congratulations to Landon Pimbleton on that.
And it definitely is. And just because you brought that up, I actually have Xander, one of the guys that works for Race on Texas. I'm going to have him make a breaking news that can splash onto the screen, take up the full screen and say breaking news. I was going to do that for the Sunday podcast, but now we need it for this one too. So now we're going to double down on it.
Yeah, you can promote it. Press Box Motorsports show. Pretty good show, actually. Yeah.
We're going to do that. We're going to make a breaking news graphic just on the off chance we ever need it.
Yeah, the Press Box Motorsports podcast is, of course, I guess, Charles, have you decided whether you're going to do daytime or nighttime? I know the other day it was 4 p.m. Eastern time, so,
Right, and as of now, this Sunday will still be a 3 p.m. Our big thing is we don't want to interfere with the football, but it's coming to an end, and we also don't want to interfere with NASCAR. So, we possibly move it to Sunday night, and we also are considering if the league doesn't go through, hopefully Crown Jewel does stay with us for the remainder of the season. Based on car count, I'm not sure, but if not, we may move it to Tuesday night, and a little primetime slot on Tuesday night. So then we can have the Press Box Motorsports podcast Tuesday night and promote Finish Line Wednesday morning. So
great.
That's what we're thinking anyway. So that's all.
Which
swirling
off
around
the record, off the cuff, we would rather have iRacing broadcast coverage on
definitely would much rather have the Crown Jewel or any league out there. We'd love to have the Red League versus the podcast, but if not, we'll fill it.
I will tell you this much. I think that there was, during the pandemic, right before, when the pandemic first started, before things started getting really, really bad, the powers that be wanted to have this Finish Line show in a primetime spot. And I will say this. I was on board for it, and I thought it had a good receptiveness from it. But then again, I wasn't. The other powers, once COVID stopped, they were like, no, we got to go back to the afternoon spot. You can't have prime time. We got it for college sports and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, okay, fine, whatever. So essentially, this is a motorsports talk show, okay? And hence the word for radio. It is a talk radio show. So whenever COVID was going on and there was no sports happening, then they were all excited about wanting to do it on prime time. And we did it. I think we did 2 or 3 times. I think we did nighttime, and it was okay. And then, of course, COVID came and shut every damn thing down. You know, they stopped all of it. And then we brought it back. But obviously, I think the press box show might be a good idea to do for prime time. Obviously, it would be a good segue, like you said, to lead up to the program to advertise Finish Line and, of course, have Press Box Motorsports podcast on that Tuesday night. I would love to see iRacing back in the box as well. So definitely. By the way, if you are tuning in and you are in iRacing League and you are interested in wanting to have some state-of-the-art, hands-down, phenomenal quality, contact Charles Wooten and LSRTV Rocket Racing Media. They will make it happen for you. And hopefully we won't get flagged by NASCAR Media Group anymore.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to get flagged. That was, again, it's more entertaining than it was anything. But, I will say this, for anyone that's listening that potentially wants to be on LSRTV, you don't get scared off by our prices. Our prices are a little high. Yes, for some people, they consider them high, but you got to remember we are the only 4K broadcast company out there. So, hands down, we have the best quality, and we've already been talking about it. New internet's coming in. We're gonna have Gig Up, which is going to make everything better. And a little hidden nugget that we don't release a lot is we're going to start doing post-race interviews on camera.
Cool.
So, that is one thing that we really want to push to get these drivers. Get on your cell phone, like some of the guests are going to do here tonight, or this afternoon, this morning. I guess this is morning. It's afternoon. It's noon for me.
It's 1 p.m. Eastern time for me. It's 12 noon for you. It's high noon, as they say in the Old West, in the Central Time Zone. It's still morning time in California, though. Yeah. It's 10 a.m.
So we want to get these guests on and let them, as the youngsters call it now, swag. Get these drivers on and let them represent their sponsors, the hats, T-shirts, stuff in the background.
Definitely.
If it ain't, even in SimWorld, if it's not about sponsors, you don't get as far. So, we want to give them a chance to actually show off their sponsors and not just talk about them. So, a lot of stuff in the works.
Well, listen, we got a great show lined up for you. We're waiting for guest number 1 to jump in the box, and pretty special guest at that. But let's get it started, ladies and gentlemen, as I am sharing all of our broadcast affiliates on social media. It is time for Finish Line, and of course, you'll hear him along the way today. As always, Charles Wooten. Could not do this show without him. He is my Periscope, and of course, the guy that essentially keeps the show afloat in Texas. Listen, Finish Line today, ready to get it started. I'm looking at our guest panel here. Coming up in a few moments, Logan Seavey, winner of the Chili Bowl. Yes, right, the Chili Bowl Nationals champion at the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Logan Seavey is coming up. We'll talk to him, originally from California, now from Indiana. We'll have him on the program on Finish Line. Also, coming up at 1:30, we're going to have on Mr. Michael Atwell. Michael Atwell, driver out of Florida, picking up the win 2 years in a row, back-to-back, taking Yoho's money at Showtime Speedway in the winner's shootout for the super late models. 1:45, Andy Jankowiak. Always great talking to him out of Tonawanda, New York. Andy J. You remember him, Charles. He's probably one of our favorite interviewers of 2021, 2022, hands down. You can cue it up again. That's just hour number 1. Andy Jankowiak will take us up to the top of the hour. Then we move in hour number 2. Greg Peterson, Challenger winner at Dillon Motor Speedway in the New Year's Bash 13th annual event. We'll have him on the program. Tom O Sullivan, winner of the Street Stock Crazy. Oh, my goodness, people. What a wild Street Stock race. I was on the broadcast call for MAV TV and Racing America with Alan Dietz a couple of weeks ago at Dillon. Tom O Sullivan ended up being the first B-Main winner of the Last Chance race. Made it into the show, and then he turns around and wins the damn thing after a crazy demolition derby. And finally, our final segment will be ranting with Charles. I think we're going to have that as a new segment from now on, where Charles gets in the box. And Charles, what are we going to rant about today? What is your rant? I know the first one's NASCAR Media Group blocking your broadcast of iRacing. What else?
You know, I'm still thinking of it, but I'll have them by the time we get to that segment.
All right. Well, we're waiting to get Logan. Do we got Logan Seavey yet? Do we have him?
That is a negative. We do not have Logan yet.
We ain't got Logan yet?
No.
Well, we're hopefully we could try to. We might have to just call him. You know, some of these guys literally get swamped with work, and they really don't know how to follow directions, and they don't know how to connect into the box. And we might have to step up and do this via phone call or somehow, some way. So let me text him here real quickly. Hey, listen, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's take a quick break, and we'll see if maybe we can get Logan Seavey when we return back. This is Finish Line. We're back with more in a moment.
Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM, McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM, McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
This is Finish Line.
Hey, welcome back to Finish Line. Charles Wooten, Wesley Outland, and where's Logan? Logan Seavey is our first guest. We're waiting to connect with him. You never know, Charles. He might have got busy. He might have got caught up with something, obviously. He's the guy that won the Golden Driller at the Chili Bowl this past Saturday, holding off Tanner Thorson. And we're waiting to get him in the box here on our Finish Line show. So I do want to let everyone know that I had him scheduled. Charles saw the text in the line of communication of where we literally had him committed. And I don't know, man. Listen, these drivers, they get schedules, they have commitments, they have itineraries, and sometimes they forget. What can I say? I don't know. All I know is he's got 10 more minutes, and if he doesn't pop in 10 minutes, we're going to skip on and go to the next one. And Charles, honestly, that's the best thing that we can do, and maybe we can try to get him on for another time or record an interview or do something like that with Logan Seavey.
Yeah, maybe he forgot what time zone he was in. Maybe an hour behind or 2 hours behind somewhere. If he's from California, maybe forgot what time it was, and
Well, he's originally from California, but now he lives in Indianapolis, Indiana, and that's of course the Eastern time zone. So I would think that he would.
He would be an hour early. Yeah. Maybe he tried to connect this morning. I don't know. Maybe, but so, yeah.
Well, Charles, what was your take of the Chili Bowl, man? I mean, I saw some good, bad, ugly. I saw where there was a lot of people ranting and raving, and they were complaining about the time because it was live on MAV TV. And, what took forever for them to start the main and this and that and everything else. And I'm thinking to myself, guys, give it a rest. They've just raced 5 straight nights over there at Tulsa.
Yeah, it does take a while. And I know in prior years when Tony Stewart was helping out, there was a big deal between MAV TV and him because he wanted to redo the track. And MAV TV was like, no, we're on a schedule. We got to go. So the Chili Bowl, that track gets worn out. And I agree. You definitely have to redo that track every once in a while. Just like a surfer likes to get that gnarly wave. Well, unlike them, I should say, these racers don't like that cushion there a whole lot. That cushion, while iRacing does a really good job of representing it, does not represent it well. I don't think, it's a tough thing to replicate at the Chili Bowl. That thing is rough, and you catch a wheel on it and you're going for a ride. So yeah, you've got to redo the tracker once in a while, and push some of that up a little bit to give these guys a racing lane. And, sometimes this is going to take longer, than they really want it to for a national TV broadcast. But, I think they do the right call by delaying things, taking time. Plus, you got to sell them hot dogs and hamburgers. So, without those, they may not make money.
Driver out of Sutter, California, originally now resides in Brownsburg, Indiana, picked up the win, of course, at the Chili Bowl this past Saturday night in Tulsa. A big win there for the driver, of course, of Logan Seavey. And, man, big. I thought he was going to go back-to-back for Tanner Thorson. He comes so close and just one spot shy. And I will say this, though, Charles. It was cool to see the Swindell name back in victory lane at the Chili Bowl Nationals, thanks to Logan Seavey.
Yeah, definitely always good to see that one. And, I really thought, I think I picked him in our show, in the Press Box Motorsports podcast, that he was going to win. And we questioned, would he go back-to-back? Obviously, he didn't. I believe it was Christopher Bell, if I remember, is the only one that's gone no, it wasn't Christopher Bell. I can't remember who. It might have been a Swindell. This is the only one that ever went 4 in a row. So I'm curious, will we
Kevin
ever
Swindell.
Will we ever see
or Sammy
go
Swindell
4 in a row? It was Kevin. Will we ever see anybody go 4 in a row again in the Chili Bowl with the competition we have now? Not saying it wasn't good back then, but the bigger this thing gets, will we ever see anyone do that again?
And that's my question. As we move into these final 5 minutes of segment 1, awaiting Logan Seavey, but I think he's probably going to be a no-call, no-show which really sucks. And I do apologize to our audience that we're looking forward to having Logan Seavey on, because we definitely made the valiant effort to reach out to have him on. And again, he might have had some schedule conflict or something pop up. But what I will say is this. The Chili Bowl, Charles, it's amazing how big that race has got. And when is enough too much? Are we going to go to like a whole 7-8 days a week of racing now? Could it be more than that? Will the Chili Bowl have to be moved to another arena? And then, in my opinion, is if you take that out of the Tulsa Expo Center, does that change what the Chili Bowl is? Because that's why the Chili Bowl is what the Chili Bowl is. I mean, the sad reality is here, I think this event's getting bigger than the event itself. It's growing year after year, Charles. So logistically, do you try to find a way to accommodate for the fans and the teams, or do you keep it where it's at and leave it as it is?
If it's me, and and it keeps growing and growing, and it's borderline outgrowing the arena. If I'm the arena,
That's right.
I'm just going to build another arena. I think the location is perfect. It's right in the heart of where a lot of midget racing happens in Oklahoma. 2, it's right in the center of the country, basically, too. So it's, a central location for everyone to join. So, if it gets that big, I think, Tulsa as a whole, the city and their arena, should just build another one, or at least expand the, indoor pitting area to accommodate those drivers. I don't think they want to lose it, and I think they would do something to keep it.
Well, again, Logan Seavey picking up the big win in the Chili Bowl, of course, this past weekend in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It will be coming back. They've already announced that it will be January the 8th through the 14th, 2024, next year. And as I said, that event just continues to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. By the way, if you think I'm turning around and not paying attention to Charles or disrespecting him or not giving him any love, I'm literally taking our show and just doing social posting on all of our social media platforms to share this, Charles, on every racing motorsports outlet page. Obviously, when I stuck that, it messed up the chroma key. But, yes, just trying to advertise and get the word out about the show. And we certainly do appreciate all of you people joining us on the program. I'm Wesley Outlet, Charles Wooten alongside. And, hey, let's just go ahead and bring him in the box, man. I apologize not getting Logan Seavey on. But to one man's spoils goes to the victor, and we'll bring him in. He's ready to go. Our buddy from Mr. Michael Atwell from Florida joining us here. We'll give him a couple of minutes early. And again, our apologies on Logan Seavey not being able to join us here. He was scheduled. He was lined up. Maybe something happened logistically where he had another scheduled commitment. But I want to say big props to him winning the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals this past Saturday in Tulsa. Michael Atwell picked up a win at Yoho's Track Showtime Speedway. Michael Atwell, welcome to Finish Line. It's great to have you back. I think it was this time last year that we had you on the program. 2-time back-to-back winner now of that track at Showtime.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on again. I really appreciate it. Obviously, like I probably said last year, a great way to start the year. So we're just looking forward to the races we got coming up.
That's got to be a phenomenal way to start the year. Man, where are you at right now? You look like you're outside, and I'm envying you, okay? It's okay. Okay, I will say this much. In North Carolina, it is sunny skies and 67 degrees. But I got a feeling it's probably about 20 or 30 degrees warmer than where you're at right now down in Florida.
Oh, yeah, it's nice and warm, 80 degrees. I just got done, at work in the office, and I came and grabbed some lunch and figured I'd call you guys from outside to show you it's nice down here.
Well, listen, my producer in Texas, Charles Wooten's got something to say to you as well. Go ahead, Charles.
Well, so it's going to be 75, I think, here in Texas. So we're roughly the same, but we don't have any palm trees. So I see the palm trees. You ate lunch. Did you have a nice fruit drink or something like that? A cocktail maybe inside a coconut or at a pineapple? Because it looks like you would just be drinking your drinks, sipping something out of a pineapple or a coconut where you are.
Oh, if I didn't have to work in a little bit, go to my second job, I'd definitely be doing that.
There you
Well,
have it.
listen, Michael, let's go back to this past weekend, man. It looked like everything looked on the replay from Racing America. The car looked really good. It just seemed like it was deja vu from last year. Another solid run for car number 51. And as you said, it's a great way for you to start the season with a big $10,000 victory, but to get in high hopes to look for a good speed weeks and, of course, also on the road to the Snowball Derby.
Yeah, exactly. I think we struggled a little bit when we first got to the track, just with temperatures and trying to get the tires on the track and really get heat in the tires. But we were able to find speed. Got it on the pole. Had to start sixth, and 125 laps is a long time there at showtime. Make sure we can keep the fenders on it. Is the most important part. We were able to do that, and everything shuffled out there in the middle of the race to help us out. And we finally got the lead, and it was kind of just praying for no yellows after that, and hit your marks and just keep doing what we're doing.
I got to ask you, what was your take of the car count and just seeing what Yoho has been doing with that race year after year? It seems like it's like the third year he's done it.
Yeah, I obviously wish there could have been more. I think it's a little difficult just with speed weeks being so close. I think it takes a lot of big names out of it that are planning on running that for the whole entirety of speed weeks. But I can't thank Showtime Speedway and Robert Yoho enough for putting on races like that allow us a place that's close to home to go race for big money. So I wish the car counts could have been better ultimately, but definitely happy to be there and happy to get a win to start the year.
Do you think, Michael, that there definitely needs to be possibly the track an idea of maybe changing the date or moving it maybe to the end of the year than the first of the year to build up the car count? I mean, it's just obviously we're in a time now where obviously I know quality oversees quantity, but you got to have a good car count, because if you're a new fan coming to that racetrack, if they're thinking, well, this is a 10,000 to win super late model race and we got 15 cars, where's 25, where's 30 cars? Is it like that all year down in Florida? Or I mean, is it that way during, like, what I mean by saying that is it that way until you get down to Pensacola in December in the Snowball Derby and maybe New Smyrna for Speed Weeks? Or is that, the norm now in Florida for the races for super late models, you think?
I would say that it's definitely not the norm. I mean, when we race, at Citrus and Punta Gorda sometimes, and Auburndale has a good car count for supers too. I just think I think it needs to be a little better planning. I think that early in the year, I think that last weekend had a lot going against it, weather-wise, rain, cold front, all that stuff definitely doesn't lend to a higher car count. But I mean, we could see races like last year at Citrus where we ran the SRL race there. I mean, they had a really, really good car count. The Big League race had a really good car count. So I think it's all about, the people in Florida getting together. Sunshine State Racing does a great job of trying to keep everybody informed about the races that are coming up and stuff like that. And I think there needs to be more emphasis put on that for this race in particular.
Yeah, we'll see definitely, what transpires, because Yoho does a phenomenal job. I think he's one of the most wacky promoters out there on social media with just his videos. And, and the word I say wacky, please do not have anybody at that racetrack take as disrespectful. I just think it's creative, the things he does, the way he does promoting, and you should all out there as promoters take a look at it and say, okay, this might be something we might need to consider doing. I know he has a definitely awesome personality, but for sure it gets the job done. We're talking to Michael Atwell, back-to-back champion of the Winter Shootout at Showtime Speedway in Florida, joining us here on Finish Line. By the way, if you are a subscriber to Racing America, you can go and check out the recoverage of the race in its entirety or the archives. Michael, what's the plans for 2023? Obviously, I know we're less than a month away from the World Series of Asphalt Short Track Racing at New Smyrna and so much more. Where are we going to see the 51 at next?
I think we haven't really fully decided on, speed weeks we're still up in the air on that. We're definitely getting the car prepared for Cordell and Speed Fest there. Really excited to get back there. I think we always bring a really good piece there. So I'm excited to get back there, see if we can check that one off. We've been in contention a few times now and just haven't been able to complete it. Then we're going to go to the Rattler in March. That'll be fun to get back there. I haven't been to Op in a long time. But I think mainly we're going to try and run the SRL National Tour, really support those guys for all that they're trying to do for super late model racing around the country, and show them that what they're trying to build and what they're doing definitely isn't unnoticed. And kind of do what we've been doing, hit up as many Southern Super Series races as we can. Obviously, some of them are a little farther away, hard to get funds and get everything lined up. So I think mainly just try and run those two series and see how many races we can attack this year.
Now, I'll tell you what, man, you mentioned the ASA Stars National Series, and not only that, but also what the SRL National Tour have done. Right out of the gate, I know they've got a big race coming up at the Rattler. I think it's $20,000 to win for super late models at Op. You've got, of course, the SRL National Tour there. You've got the ASA National Stars Tour. Do you see the Roosters fighting over it in the hen house? Do you think SRL and ASA are going to be able to work together? Or do you think, well, you stay on your side of the fence, we'll stay on our side? Because ultimately, they're kind of the same kind of cars. It's super late models on pavement.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I think there's definitely a little bit of, like you said, they're both on, different sides of the spectrum right now. So hopefully at some point they can, come together and grow super late model racing together as it should be. I think, obviously they're both attacking the same piece of real estate in the sense that they're trying to create a national tour and have the best national tour. So you can see how they'd be competitors right now. But I think that, ultimately it would be most beneficial for super late model racing if they could find a way to, have cohesive events and work together during certain events. Obviously, everybody has to have their own identity, so that doesn't mean working together all the time. But if they can work together at some points, I think that'd be helpful.
Charles, I'm going to bring you into this fold as well, buddy. What do you think? Do you agree with that? Do you think that we're onto something here? Obviously, we were on Finish Line. We were on your show, the Press Box Motorsports podcast show on Sunday afternoon. And one of the things we talked about, Michael, was, of course, the announcement of the Cars Tour and Dale Jr. and Jeff Burton and Kevin Harvick and Justin Marks taking ownership of it. But one of the things I said in my segment in regards to that, Michael, they don't have no competition. There is no other late model stock car series out there. We mentioned the super late models. We mentioned the Spears, the SRL Tour, the National SRL Tour. Now you got the ASA Stars Tour. You got Southern Super Series. You've got there's too many roosters in the hen house. Do you think that's the reason why the late model stock brand might start doing well? And Michael, do you see possibly late model stocks coming down to Florida sometime soon, bud?
I mean, you can't ever count anything out, right? I think that it would definitely be harder to break into that market down in Florida, just because they're a completely different kind of car, meaning everybody's got to go build a new car or build an existing car that they're able to buy and really start a series up like that. But at the end of the day, more racing is better racing. As long as we can keep tracks open and keep them functioning with good competitive racing, then that's a plus. So I'm hoping that those guys taking over that series will really be beneficial for just small time short track racing and racing in general.
Charles, you want to elaborate more on that, buddy? I know I brought you into the fold. What's your take of that thing, bud?
I agree. I think, we need this series, because like anything in life, you need a little bit of competition to keep things level, keep things in check. Because if you have one series that, like the Cars Tour, I would love to see them have a little bit of competition, because if they don't have any competition, they can pretty much do what they want to do. And, people, they can't fight it really. If they have another choice, it's going to keep everything in line. Maybe prices, they can't say, well, we're going to run this $50,000 engine. You got to get it or not. If there's another series that runs the same car, same kind of thing, but, runs a cheaper rule, I think it would keep the cost down of racing a little bit and benefit everyone in that way. So I think you don't want too many roosters in the house, but I think you need enough to keep it competitive and keep each other in line and keep each other in check.
Well, I'll tell you what, Michael, I think Charles was definitely hitting perfectly on that. Do you want to add anything more to that, bud? Listen, and this is what I said. For the late model stocks and the cars tour to grow on a national level like people think it's going to happen with that series, they've got to expand. You've got to get down in the Florida area. You've got to get down in the deep South. You've got to get big in Georgia and Mississippi and Georgia and parts after the Carolinas, Virginia, and Tennessee. Because if not, I don't see it going anywhere. And that's what surprises me, Michael, is super late models and pro late models are big down in the deep South where you're at in the panhandle of Florida, all parts down there. But you can't get them up here in the Carolinas. Why is there such a block within a 300-mile radius of the two places? What is the deal here?
I think it's just the parts available. Obviously, you go to North Carolina and you can buy used parts from old teams. Obviously, not so much Cup teams anymore because they're a completely different style car. But I think previously it was so big because it was so much cheaper for the average guy to go get parts that had already been manufactured and use them in that aspect. And truck arm cars, that kind of stuff had been so prevalent. I think that's why there's such a big divide. I think that also is what drives the late model stock cars in general. Obviously, I think it's pretty obvious that super late models in general are more national basis than a late model stock is. They're very localized, and I think in order for them to grow something like that, they do need big names, like Justin Marks, Jeff Burton, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who just took it over to really get that out there and have people be enthused about trying to race those out in California or Wisconsin or Florida or Texas. You know what I mean?
Sure, definitely. Well, listen, Michael, it is always, do we got our next guest in the box? Andy J on the other side. Was he ready, Charles? Okay. We'll reach out to him. I know he'll be coming up here very, very soon. Andy Jankowiak, of course, Tom Sullivan, Greg Peterson, all on the way here for Finish Line. Michael Atwell, we appreciate you joining us. Where do you go to next, man? I know you mentioned Speed Fest, Watermelon Capital, or Crisp Motorsports Park is actually the name of the track now at Cordell. And then, of course, the Rattler. How do you pick and choose where you race at? And is it because of knowing where the cars are, knowing because you got a chance what the world in the past, the Rattler paid $10,000 a win. So now you've doubled because of the SRL National Tour, $20,000 a win. Do you think, Michael, that's going to increase the car count, or do you think the numbers will be the same for the Rattler as it's been, 25, 30 cars in the past?
I think they've done a really good job of marketing that race, getting the word out there for what it pays, and just the prestige of that race in the past. Obviously, I think a lot of people know about the Rattler, so I think that should definitely bump up the car count. At least we can hope, so that they can at least see a positive trend as to if we offer more money, make it a better event, then we're going to get more cars. You know what I mean? But Cordell is our next race, Speedfest. Right now, that is our next race. I'm not sure about New Smyrna for Speed Weeks, but we'll see. And I got to go out to I leave tomorrow for California to work with Chris Davidson out in Irwindale for the SRL race out there.
Yeah, is that the All-Star event? I've seen a lot of hype about that race, the All-Star race, no doubt about it. And, of course, that is another SRL-sanctioned race where you're going all the way from the West Coast back to the East Coast. Shout out to Ricky and Tracy Brooks and everybody there because they're doing a lot of traveling in the airports and they're driving in their cars or somehow, some way. So, definitely. And, by the way, the winner of the Spears SRL Tour All-Star Showdown, what used to be known as the NASCAR All-Star Showdown, the NASCAR Toyota All-Star Showdown at Irwindale is coming up. And, of course, Michael, safe travels to you, buddy, heading out there for sure. Definitely. I got to ask you, have you ever went to Speed Weeks at New Smyrna? Have you raced there before?
Yeah, I think we've been 1 or 2 years, but never raced the full thing. We'll just normally race like 2 or 3 of the races.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is that like if you ran the entire 8 days straight, 10 days straight of super late model racing? If you ran supers, what is the mindset like of doing that? How do you keep on going, and what type of a budget would you need to do or have yourself just to be able to be able to run the entire 10, 12 days or whatever the World Series of racing is?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely difficult. I think mindset, like you said, is one of the biggest things. Obviously, realizing that you got 8 nights of racing and you got to make sure you keep the car clean, but you also, when you're racing, you're not, you can't really think about that. You got to put the car where you need to put it in order to try and win. Budget wise, I mean, you're buying 1-2 sets of tires a night, depending on, whether it's a 100 lap or a smaller race. So I think you got to be somewhere, 15 to 20,000 to compete with some of these bigger teams. And it also makes it difficult when you just show up for 1 or 2 races because everybody else has been on the track the whole week. So they all, everybody's getting notes, everybody's getting better every night. And it makes it difficult to show up there for, say, the last 2 nights because you don't have any of the notes that everybody else has already got.
Well, listen, Michael, it's been great having you here on the program. Andy Jankowiak is getting ready to connect to us from Tonawanda, New York, to talk about ARCA tested in Daytona. But before I do let you go, man, big congratulations to you. Hope to run into you at the track this year. And I do want you to thank your sponsors on Finish Line as always, bud.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for always having me on. And, I can't thank Marty and Holly Walsh, RAS Concrete and Construction, Drake Ready Mix, Universal Transmissions, Alice Sweetwaters, Castle Services, my mom and dad, Tyler Rohrig, Rocket Fabrication, does the best shock work in the country, and Mike Garvey for everything they do. I couldn't do it without them. And hopefully we can get a big one at Speedfest.
Man, hey, listen, as we await Andy, you just mentioned the name Mike Garvey. That guy is so known for what he's done in the world of racing and his credentials and career. I looked at some video the other day on social media from the All-Pro Series at Southern National. When he ran ASA, I also had memories in my head visiting now the dormant relic that is Myrtle Beach Speedway last Saturday when I was in Myrtle Beach. Man, what does it mean to have a guy like Mike Garvey helping you with your racing endeavors now, Michael? Hands down.
I'll tell you what, it is really cool. Looking back, it seems like that guy's won everything under the sun. If he was in a race car at that, he probably won it. But it's nice. It's really having him in the pits. Just, I think that, the feel and the way that we talk about the cars, the way that we decipher what changes we want to make are very similar between the two of us. So for us being able to meet in the middle between adjustments, say, if we want to make a change, I have an idea, he has an idea, and we can meet in the middle there some ways, normally works out better in general for both of us, so we're not swinging, one way or the other. But having all that experience, somebody that, really knows how to dot all the I's, cross all the T's, make sure everything's right. It's great having him in our corner, and I can't thank him enough.
Michael Atwell, thanks for your time. Always enjoy having you on Finish Line, and good luck in all your endeavors this year. I look forward to seeing you at a race in 2023, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
That's Michael Atwell, again, two-time winner of the Winter Shootout, Winter Fest. Of course, he'll be getting ready for that at Cordell, the Op, the Rattler, and so much more. We're getting ready to go now and join us from Florida to New York. And in the house, ready to go, is well, I see him. Is he frozen? Is he connected? Andy, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you see me?
Your face is frozen.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, your face is frozen. So, but we can hear you though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm doing this. So you send me all this stuff on a flip phone, and then I try to transfer it to my tablet, and bad things happen.
If I send it to you in Facebook, would that be better?
Well, you could try. So I got this little item here. Like, is the little red phone, is that something I should hit, or is that going to hang up on you?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we probably want you to hang up and reconnect here. So Andy Jankowiak is in the box, folks. You see him here, and of course he's frozen. I'm going to send you a message in your messenger on Facebook, Andy. Okay, and I'm going to send him. I'm going to send him the details. What do I always say? When it's live, right? When it's live, it's live. So I'm going to send him. I'm going to send him this information in the. Yeah, there we go. Yes, I lost my train of thought for a second. In Messenger, I'm going to send him the information in Messenger, and we'll get him connected, and hopefully we can bring him back. And when we do that, while he is getting reconnected, we will connect with our sponsors that make it happen. On Finish Line, we are back with more with Andy Jankowiak next.
Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CreteInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
This is Finish Line.
And we welcome you back to Finish Line. For some reason, the world of technical is being a DA today. You know what DA stands for, abbreviated. And I don't mean district attorney either. And for some reason, it's not wanting to connect with us. Obviously, we'll try to get Andy Jankowiak hopefully on. If not, we'll have to reschedule with him next week. I don't know what's going on. Andy Jankowiak is being former guests on the show, and normally it works out perfectly. And you saw we had him on. We could hear him, but then trying to get him on for video and audio, I guess something didn't work. I don't know what's going on. So we are trying to do something behind the scenes to bring him back audio only. And if we can, we'll bring him back. Maybe if we can bring him back in our final segment, that takes our rant away with Charles and I. But if we could try to reconnect back with him, that would be fine. Of course, we have another guest lined up at the top of the hour, Greg Peterson, Tom O Sullivan. All these people are in the box ready to go. And obviously, one of the things that we have to do, Charles, that we've not done in the past is keep a strict time 2-hour limit on the show. And we give each guest, I think, a 15, 20-minute segment. And if they run out of their time, they run out of their time. So the good news is there is that last segment where maybe we could try to reconnect with Andy Jankowiak. Did we get him? Bring him in. Bring him in. So this is what we're going to do. Andy, can you hear me?
Do we have to use that picture?
You're froze. You're froze, but who gives a damn? All right, just show your car. Show his picture of his race car, Charles. That's what I said earlier. Let's just bring up his picture of his race car. At least we got you connected here. So, well, Andy, listen, we've got another guest lined up here at the top of the hour. But what I was saying was that if we could reconnect with you at 2:35, 2:40 would be great, and then we can bring you back on again.
Let's do that.
It's always great having you on the show, my friend. Definitely.
Give me a minute. I might be able to figure out how to do this.
Well, I was going to say, what are you connected to right now? Are you connected to your flip phone and you're actually making it work?
No, I have a tablet, but I have to, like, when you send me the link, I have to type the link out in, like, the key part on my tablet, and for whatever reason that doesn't load the camera. So when you sent me another link, it loaded the camera, but for whatever reason the browser that kept popping up wouldn't load the show. So
I gotcha.
I don't know.
What browser?
I hate technology.
What browser are you using? What browser are you using?
Firefox seems to be the one that'll load you.
Google Chrome is normally the best one, I think, that people use. Google Chrome. So, but
all right,
yeah,
let me try downloading that. Wait, I'll try download it. You said 2:30.
We will. Let's bring you back at 2:40 Eastern time. So you got about 40 minutes, and you got a chance to jump in here. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you a different link, and that will be the one that you will connect into, which I think it is. Is it 6? I think it is. Since he is going to – you want to do that, Charles, or just give him the same link? Can we do that? Okay, so I'm saying if we give you a different link for that different time slot, that might actually maybe work better. Maybe there's a problem with the third guest link or something. So Andy, we're going to let you go, my friend, and we will get you back on at 2:40 Eastern time. 2:35, 2:40 Eastern time. I'm going to send you the new link that you will connect with, and maybe you can dabble with it behind the scenes, and we'll get you on here at that time. Okay, my friend? Because it's always great catching up with you, Andy J. The Buffalo Missile.
All right, man. I'm on it.
All right, brother. Thank you very much. And we are also at the top of the hour. We will take a quick break. When we come back, Greg Peterson, Tom O Sullivan, and now Andy Jankowiak into hour number 2. Finish line, January 18th. When it's live, it's live. We rock and roll. We're back with more in a moment.
Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
This is Finish Line.
Welcome back to Finish Line. We are in hour number 2. I'm your host, Wesley Outland. Couldn't do without the sponsors of MPM Marketing. Crate Insider, of course, as always. Fox Sports Radio affiliates throughout the Carolinas, in the Palmetto and the Tar Heel State. Of course, Community Radio Network. We are CRN.com, 87.9 FM in the Carolina area of Joco, Johnston County. iHeartRadio, and joining us, I believe we're going to Concord, North Carolina. Joining us is Greg Peterson. Greg, it's great to have you on Finish Line, man. Your continued abundance of media obligations continues after winning a very big race for your career, the New Year's Bash a couple of weeks ago at Dillon. It's always great having you on, sir. Thanks for being on, first-time guest.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Wesley. I appreciate y'all having me on. It's it's been a little bit of a whirlwind of a week and a half here, but you know what? It's a welcome surprise, so we'll take it.
So listen, you've got a pretty awesome credentials yourself, Greg. I know you've ran street stocks in the past, but the name Greg Peterson, I look at what you've done at Concord, and other racetracks in the Carolinas. What makes the decision to go down and run at Florence and Dillon and places like that now in South Carolina and doing what you've been doing and winning, obviously driving Chad Webster's car?
Yeah, it just comes down to a scheduling thing for the most part, because obviously I stay pretty busy taking care of everybody else's stuff, which I enjoy very much. But I also enjoy getting the few opportunities I get to race. And the Dillon thing kind of started actually back in about 2012, 13. We took one of Ross Furr's oldest late models, and me and his dad Tim started going down there, and just kind of was financially it was a pretty good deal. We started out 4 used tires, and he went to 2 new, and his payout was pretty good. And we started being successful and winning races down there. And that's obviously how I met Chad Webster. And we started doing stuff together. And throughout the years, we've become really close friends. So just kind of our neck of the woods to get away and go race a little bit.
I'll tell you what, Greg, your car was absolutely phenomenal at Dillon a couple of weeks ago. But, I mean, if you could have painted a better picture to give a storyline, obviously you had nobody was able to battle with you. You had such a strong race car. The stars aligned perfectly, per se, if you will, to get that win at the New Year's Bash preliminary Saturday for the Challengers.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's the best way to put it, Wesley, that the stars definitely aligned, because I've tried to run Chad's car a few other times, and it seems like we always had some kind of little issue, or I don't know, maybe it was me. I don't know. But and then obviously, like you said, I run the street stocks down there, and I was 0-3 in them things. I could not finish. But
yeah.
Man, they dropped the green flag Saturday. I'm like, this thing had that feel. Like, I'm like, all right. It's everything's coming back to me. The car's feeling good. And, it was Chad's father-in-law's birthday. Pee-wee, his dad's birthday, was a week before. My girlfriend made it to her first race to watch me. And, kind of the whole family deal. Sister, brother-in-law, nephew were there. And,
sure.
It's just, like you said, it's like the stars aligned. And I'm like, once we got going there, I was like, I am not losing this thing.
Certainly, it definitely did. And when it was said and done, you picked up a big win. Greg, I got to ask you, man, because as a former driver that raced in the street stocks, what's your take of what happened Sunday afternoon? Were you at Dillon Sunday afternoon for the race, or were you already back home at Concord? Or what is your take of the shenanigans of what happened in the New Year's Bash 100-lap street stock race? And do you think the drivers have a valid point to blame the racetrack, or do you think it's the wheel holders themselves for the outcome of the race being what it was?
Yeah, I tell you, Wesley, like I said before, I was 0-3 in that race, and it was always kind of, caught up victim of circumstance. I really can't pinpoint whether I can't blame it on the racetrack. I mean, it's kind of like any big race, whether it's a street stock or a late model. Look at Martinsville. Look at the carnage we see at Martinsville for the biggest late model stock race of the year. And I think it's kind of that whole thing. It's such a big stage for them guys, and I think they try too hard. Don't get me wrong, Ron does a great job down there, Ron Barfield, but I feel like he probably needs to tighten the reins a little bit on some of that stuff, and so it just doesn't get control and get to the point where people say we don't want to come back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it was Sunday was probably like the roughest one that I've seen, and I did stay to see it, unfortunately. But it got a little out of hand, and I'd like to see it get reined back a little bit, because I mean some of those wrecks were pretty scary, honestly. But
sure.
So
24 caution flags for 5 red flags in a race that took 3 hours and almost 28 minutes to run for 100 laps. when it was said and done, of course, Tom O Sullivan picked up the win. He's joining us next, by the way, after Greg Peterson here on Finish Line. Andy Jankowiak, we were scheduled with him as he had some technical issues. We'll be back with him to talk about ARCA, Daytona, the Indoor Auto Racing Series, and more. Greg, man, you know, like I said, I was looking at your Facebook. You got some pretty amazing credentials. I mean, you raced at Concord Motorsports Park, and that's a track that I know a lot of people miss. You know, I was talking with somebody earlier, and I think I mentioned Myrtle Beach Speedway, and I was going to say thank you to Steve Murray, because Steve Murray saw me out there doing my video on Saturday, and he gave me a piece of the racetrack. That's something that I'll have in my, I'll have in my collection in my office for sure, hands down. Greg, did you get a piece of the asphalt at Concord to keep as a memory, or how much do you miss that racetrack? I know a lot of people thought the world of Concord Motorsports Park, and there's so much history at that triangle half mile located just outside of Charlotte.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I greatly miss it. I didn't get a chunk of asphalt from there. I did actually get a couple pieces from Myrtle Beach because we were there for the last race. But I think about a little bit after Copart had bought Concord, I was able to sneak in at the gates locked, and I think I even shot like a little video and made one last lap around the racetrack. And I ain't gonna lie, bud, it was it was a bit emotional. That place was my home from the time I was 14, 15 years old till it shut down, whether I was racing and got to win a lot of races in a lot of different divisions there. And then obviously moved on and started helping people like Chuck Crump and several others there, and Doc Miracle. And we won a bunch of races and championships. And yeah, it was like a piece of me gone almost, you know what I mean? Cause that was home.
Hey, speaking of Doc Miracle, he got back behind the wheel of a race car at the New Year's Bash a couple of weeks ago at Dillon. What's your thoughts of getting him back in the race car after what Zach Miracle's done the last couple of years and his success for that young man?
Oh, it was really cool. It was really cool because me and Doc got to race each other a couple times at Concord, and that it's always kind of fun, like racing against one of your, basically one of my best friends and customer. But yeah, he got up second there one time, and we got to restart side by side, and Zach had to come on the radio and make a couple comments about that. But that was really cool. But we both spun the tires a little bit on that restart. I think he just spun them a little bit worse. But yeah, it was good to see him back in the car. He's like me. He doesn't get many more opportunities, and for us both to be able to do it. And he run 30. He had a real good run too. So it was really cool.
Hey, by the way, I do want to send a big shout out to David Rogers and the folks at the Chicken Bone Alley podcast. They have a great show that's available on their podcast outlets. Just put in Chicken Bone Alley podcast, racing podcast. Greg Peterson was on with their show. I think it was Monday, and I reached out to David and I said, "Hey, look, Greg's not responding from my Facebook. He ain't responding to my messages. Somebody track this guy down, So we had to go FBI, CIA on you to track you down, Greg Peterson." And David Rogers was actually the guy that ultimately gave me your number to finally get a hold of you. And I do appreciate you taking the time. You're in your race shop, right? Ain't that what you do full time during the week, work in the race shop?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's my full-time gig. So yeah, I just kind of plopped up on a tire here, actually right behind Zach Miracle's car, and joined the show with y'all. But yeah, we're here in Concord, and like I say, I take care of Zach's stuff, obviously, and I got other customers. I got little Brendan Lee. I got a car up front of Zach's that I got to put together for him. He's been running Charger down at Florence last year, and he was fortunate enough with me helping. He won a race, and so yeah, we stay pretty busy here.
I got to ask you, are you getting ready for the Icebreaker, Greg? Will we see you at the Icebreaker at Florence besides Dillon when they fire back up in March?
Well, we'll have Zach Miracle there for sure. We're going to definitely get him that's going to be his first race of 2023. As far as like me and Chad, I don't think actually, I don't know, because I don't think Steve's running the Challenger class. It's just the late models, and I think he's got trucks and Legends and Bandoleros. So we won't be. I won't be driving. I'll be back to crew chiefing again. So maybe we can have some success with Zach. I told him I set the tone for the year.
Yeah, it's the 8th annual running of the Icebreaker presented by Aaron's Sales, Lease, and Rentals and Flow Racing. That will be, of course, February the 10th and 11th. Of course, it is an afternoon event. It is not a nighttime race. It will start in the afternoon. Green flag flying at 2:30 Eastern time. And, of course, as Greg mentioned, late model stocks, a big race for $5,000 to win. Super trucks, also mini stocks, legend cars, and bandoleros, all part of that event. Thunder and Lightning and the Chargers are off, as you said, Greg. So,
yes.
Yeah, that's what's on the schedule for the upcoming events. And that will be at at Florence Motor Speedway coming up in February, the Icebreaker. And by the way, the Icebreaker actually started off from, I know it says 8th annual, and it's only like the 3rd or 4th year they've done it at Florence. It started at Myrtle Beach, and they've brought that race from Myrtle Beach to now down to Florence Motor Speedway. Greg, what is your racing plans this year, man? We got about a handful of minutes left with you here on Finish Line. What's your plans for 2023 besides winning the Challenger race? Are we going to see you drive the Chad Webster car anymore this year for some events, my friend?
Well, we certainly hope so. Obviously, it's got to fit, my schedule, his schedule. We actually talked yesterday about it, and he told me, he's got it shoved over in the corner with the cover on. He's like, you get a free weekend whenever you want to go. He said, let's go do it again. So I'm definitely game for that. And me and him have actually been working on a car. It's been a long, drawn out project, but we're actually working on basically we're hoping to maybe get that thing together this year, and then maybe, try to run some, maybe even like a bigger limited race or something. And then I've got a pro late model that I've been redoing for an actual friend of mine. And I think he's wanting me to try to run it the first few times we take it out. So don't know exactly the date on that yet, but we're getting close with the car, and we'll go test and see what it does. So I may get to, hopefully, maybe it would be great.
I got to ask you this question. Obviously, Concord being the first one, because obviously you said that was a long-time track that you raced at. What is your favorite racetrack to race on nowadays, Greg? What's the track that you really enjoy racing?
Well, like I say, nothing can replace Conk for sure. And obviously Dylan's been really good to me. So I'd probably have to say Dylan. And I haven't actually got to race Florence. I've practiced several times with other people's cars, and we actually had Tim's car down there one time, and right in qualifying, actually, we broke a rocker arm and stuff on the motor, so I didn't get the race, but I would like to get the race there. Maybe that would become one of my favorites too.
Greg, if I remember correctly, man, didn't you run late models back in the day at Concord? Didn't you run late models and stuff? What classes did you run back in the day at Concord when it was open?
Oh yeah, definitely. I started out like in what they called enduro division there, which is kind of close to what street stocks are now. And then moved up to super stock, which was turned into almost like a limited late model by the end. And I was fortunate enough to win over between them two classes about 15, 16 races. And then finally moved up to late model stock. Actually, the year I ran late model stock Concord, Henry Furr's late model stocks were just super late models with 2-barrel motor, kind of like a pro late model.
Right.
And my rookie year in that, we won one Big Ten race, and I think finished second, third in points, and then went into true late model stock. So it's true late model stock for pretty much about 4 years there till I finally lost the last race car I had in a pretty bad wreck, and I was like, I don't think I can afford to do this on my own anymore. So that's kind of when I quit trying to own my own race cars.
I got to ask you this question, Greg, as somebody that used to run late models, okay? The Cars Tour announced last Monday, and we got Keely Dubinsky lined up on Finish Line next week to give us the true in and outs of everything going on with the Cars Tour for 2023 and beyond. Dale Jr., Jeff Burton, Justin Marks, Kevin Harvick, they have purchased the company, 4 owners now from Jack McNeely, and all the success that he done with the, what was the successor Gene Cox, or that started what was the Pro Cup Series. Where do you see late model stock car racing going, Greg? And would it be something that you would get back into for sure?
Well, probably at my age, nothing I would get back into on any kind of a hard schedule. But that Cars deal is so competitive. That's one of those deals. It's hard to just drop in. Somebody like me, say I race 2 or 3 times a year. That's a tough series. Super competitive. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would like to venture into a couple of them, but
sure.
It's all about money. But it's I really think that with these publicity they can bring in. I mean, Jack and Keely's always done a great job on that, anyways. But I just think it's going to add to the exposure. I mean, I think it'll be a good thing for the series, and I think it'll help it grow.
There you go. Well, I appreciate your take on that. Greg, we've got Tom O Sullivan in the box. He's joining us next. Before I do let you go, buddy, as always, Greg, thanks for taking the time to join us on Finish Line for the first time. Congratulations on your big win. And before I do let you go, I want you to thank your sponsors on that car, number 22.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me again. Obviously, Chad Webster Racing, Chris's Garage, and Industrial Home and Electrical Supply out of Dillon, South Carolina was basically the people we had on the car, and the rest of it was just Chad and his family and me and him together doing it. So, but we appreciate what help we got from them people. They're good people.
Well, Greg, thank you so much, buddy. I'll let you get back to working on the cars in the race shop for Doc and Zach Miracle, and maybe I'll see you at Florence at the Icebreaker in a few weeks, my friend.
That sounds great, Wesley. Thank you again.
Not a problem. From Concord, North Carolina, winner of the Challengers at the Dillon New Year's Bash, that is Greg Peterson. And now we go to the Street Stock New Year's Bash champion on the road from Wilbraham, Massachusetts. Of course, he's the first driver of the Northeast to win the prestigious event. He's on the road somewhere. Thomas O Sullivan, Tommy O Sullivan, Tom O Sullivan, whatever you want to call him. Welcome to Finish Line, buddy. It's an honor to have you on the show, sir. Good to get you finally tracked down about a week later, but it's all good.
That's cool. It's an honor to be on your show.
It certainly is, man. Has it settled in yet? Just what a successful race you had, having to go through a last chance race and fighting and clawing. Did we lose him? Hopefully he'll pull over on the side of the road. Maybe we can bring him back here again. So, Tom, can you hear me, buddy? If you
Hold
can,
on a second, I'll pull over here.
Okay, they are going to pull over. That's great. So we're gonna pull over and get reconnected with Tom O Sullivan here. Do like Ron Barfield did. Find that place that's got those perfect bars and slam on the brakes like he did a few weeks ago to be on the show when he's driving. So I think we're good now. I was going to ask you the question though, Tom. Has it settled in, man? What a major achievement you had winning the New Year's Bash and being the first driver of the Northeast to do it.
Yeah, I mean, very cool honor. Hard fought race. Ran a lot of big races in my career so far, and that was right up there. Pretty prestigious to run against guys from all across the country. And an honor to race against some of those guys because, not on a normal time would you get them.
I got to ask you this question. Obviously, you're cutting in and out again, but it's a lot better than what it was. What on the spectrum of things looking as being the winner, what was your overall synopsis of the race, though? What did you think of it?
I think it's a great event. Ron Barfield and his team I don't really feel like we held up our end of the bargain. There was a lot of impatience, and that has nothing to do with Ron. He does everything right. He comes off the tower and he tries to make everybody start where they're supposed to. And this event could be such a huge event, even bigger than it is now, if we could just find a little patience, and with some of the drivers, myself included.
You know, Tom, you were one of the B-Main winners. You won B-Main 1. And I will say this. You got to be aggressive to win those B-Main races. That's your last chance to make it into the starting field. But for the 32 cars that made the 100-lap feature race, for it to take 3.5 hours and the shenanigans that went on where cars are getting tore up left and right, and I even look at your situation. There were two times where you got spun or you got involved in an accident, and somehow, some way, you dissected back to the field and you went on to win the race.
Yeah, I mean, the first half of the race, my plan was to just take it easy, and I really was. I mean, we came from 21st to 4th, and I was taking it easy. It really was. And then I got turned around by the 48. I don't really know why. We rubbed a little bit off of 4, certainly not enough to just drive in there and turn me around. It is what it is. And then the second time I got inside away, and that was on me. I started to crowd into him and push up into him. And if I didn't spin myself out, I would have took him with me. So I chose to just, and I think I got a little help from behind too. So it was a survival event at that point. And then, to actually start, with about, 25 to go is, when I started to turn the wick up after we knocked the toe out and had the toe fixed and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And by the way, I don't want this interview segment on Finish Line to be about the ugly of Dylan and you winning the race. I want it to be about you winning the race and about, obviously, your career and you coming down, because you're not only the first driver of the Northeast from Wilbraham, Massachusetts to win the event, but secondly, this was your first start. This was your first ever start at the New Year's Bash. And that's one of the things that I looked at, because working on the broadcast notes, yeah, we had a lot of first-timers like yourselves, and we had guys that have been some repeat racers, returners, but then we had guys that didn't come back. And it's like what me and Ron Barfield and some other people talked about. What if you brought back the first-timers and the guys that have returned and the people that were there? I'm telling you, and I agree with you, Tom, this race has become so damn big, you might have to look at making it a 3 or 4 day show, because it's just, it's amazing just where the car counts are at. I mean, 13 years into this event, we had 61 entries.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I mean, even some of the big super late model shows are struggling to get that amount of cars.
That's right.
And, it's such a, it's on the cusp of being such a great event. And it is, don't get me wrong. I'll definitely go back, and we have such a wonderful time when we come. But I just, it's going to get bigger, but we got the negativity we got out of the, from the amount of cautions and the amount of time it took to run the race, again, is on the drivers. And it's not negativity towards the track, and it shouldn't be, because the track does everything they're supposed to do. So, this is a marquee event for street stocks, and it's just going to continue to get better. And hopefully, we can step it up as drivers and make it, even better.
Tom O Sullivan joining us here on Finish Line as he is on the road somewhere. So I see a trailer behind the back of your truck. Where are you going to, Tom? And I hope you're not driving.
No, we actually pulled over now. So we are heading back from a job in about 45 minutes from our business. We own a welding and fabrication company, and we do we subcontract to my brother-in-law, which is loading dock and material handling equipment. So we're just on our way back from one of the jobs, towing the Bobcat. We pulled over in a rest area now, so we should hopefully have better service.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, bud. Hey, listen, so let's get to know Tom O Sullivan, a little bit more about your racing background and your career and how everybody have come to know you in the Northeast besides what you did at the New Year's Bash. I was throwing it to you because I knew I was getting ready to sneeze there, Tom. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, I started in go-karts, actually, around the Northeast and in the upper, New York area, running the dirt tracks and stuff like that. And then my father has always had race cars since we were little kids. Tommy Rosati initially drove for us for about 17 years. And then my brother got into it when he was about 16. And I stayed out of it for a while because I knew the commitment and stuff like that. And then I didn't want to do the go-karts no more. So I sold my go-kart operation, and I spent the summer and part of the winter building a new late model. And we took it to Thompson, and it was some growing pains. It took a little bit. I didn't have the funding in the beginning because I didn't want to put the burden on my parents. They already had 2 pro stocks or super late models, and I just wanted to try to, do it not on my own. I had tons of help, but as soon as I started to establish some sponsorship, then we really started to run well, and we ended up winning quite a few races at Thompson, and then we won 2 championships the last 2 years they had that division there. And then we moved on to the super late models, the Granite State Pro Stock Series from 2013 to about 2018. And then I just had some success. I won at a track I never thought I was going to win at against some of the toughest guys in the Northeast. And then got to run Loudon. And then just didn't really want to do that type of racing anymore. It really takes a lot with, my kids playing sports, and I kind of wanted to just take a step back and race with my nephew and tour the local tracks again. So that's what we've been doing.
Would you say that the New Year's Bash victory at Dillon is the biggest win of your career by far as logistically with the traveling, not only, but also just the hype that is behind the race, if you take away the ugly of what happened there?
Yeah, I'd say that for sure. To run against the caliber of drivers that you're running against, I mean, they're stars in their own right at their own tracks. And, you don't know how good they are until you actually get to race them unless you do a little research, So I knew quite a few of them from watching last year when I went with my nephew to help out, and knew the guys that run up front. And I know some of the Southern guys, how they run and stuff like that. So it's definitely a prestigious event and probably the top one in my career for sure.
You said that you attended the race last year in 2022 to run it in 2023. If you had to go back and do it again with the shenanigans and the things that you saw, the destruction of this year's event, would you have second guessed going down, or would you still have made the commitment to be there?
I still would have came down because it was kind of like that on a little bit of a lower scale last year. You get that amount of cars, and then the excitement, the adrenaline takes over. I've seen super late model races that are worse than that. You know what I'm saying? So it can happen. I've seen the Snowball Derby tear a bunch of cars up. So, that didn't sway me away. I knew my plan in the beginning was starting 21st. I wanted to see how I fired off, and we were really good. So I was like, well, if I can get to the top 6 or 7, I'll be safe. And, that didn't turn out as well as I thought it would. So that was my plan.
Right. Gotcha.
So,
but you still prevailed and came back and won the race, though. I mean, for sure. Let me ask you the question. you come down to that last restart. Okay, it was the green-white checker after the incident where Ledbetter got into Jeff Sparks, put him up against the outside wall, and I think there was another caution coming to the white flag where a couple of cars stacked up. I think Brandon Caraway and another car got together, and that caused the green-white checker. Did you know that you were going to have to do the bump and run on Josh Way to have to win that race? Was that the scenario? Was that the conversation in the cockpit on the radio from your spotters to your crew chief, everybody you had around you, Tom? Did you know you were going to have to use that move on Josh Way when you come to the white flag?
No, I don't. I won't ever discuss that on the radio. I mean, I take it
Okay.
spur of the moment type stuff. I mean, I went off previous to that. We were on a semi long run. We probably went 10, 15 laps green, and I was about 2 to 3 tenths faster than the 4 or 5 cars in front of me, and I caught Way, and I knew I was a lot better, but I also knew that he was good on the short run.
Right.
So the first time he got away from me, he had a good restart. He got away from me, and then I said, well, I know what I got to do on the second one. I got to just make sure I hit my marks through 1 and 2 because I was so much better on the exit of 2 than most of the cars. And then when we got in there, I mean, I knew he was going to try to choke me down in 3 and 4, which he did, which, he's trying to win the race. And so I just made sure I stayed on his bumper and was able to nudge him a little bit off of 4. And then when we raced down into 1, I knew he was coming down. So either I run in there on my normal line and clean him out, or I try to, get on the apron a little bit and not clean him out and just, see what happens on the exit. And I knew that him being a big motor car, that he couldn't get off the turn as well as I did. So I just waited till he stepped on the gas, and I nudged him in the left rear and, and moved him a little bit. And then he was fine until he went down into 3. And I don't know what happened there. I guess Ledbetter and a bunch of them, wrecked.
Yeah, that wasn't even your fault. And then we're down there doing post-race interviews for MAV TV, and the guy tries to pick a fight with you, and I'm like, dude, go the hell on somewhere. Okay, leave us alone. I'm trying to talk to this guy. If you wanna bitch and complain to him, wait until after the race is over or after we're finished with post-race. After post-race, don't try to start a brawl with us live on the air, and especially recording for network TV. And that's the thing, Tom. That's why I defended you. I defended me and you because I thought that was the wrong time to do it for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I get his frustration, but I mean, he seemed to have a short memory that, he was charging pretty hard in the middle of the race. And, a couple of times I was underneath him. He just hung a left on me and drove me down into the walls right there. And I a couple of times I got into him like, hey, knock it off. And then he's like got his hand out the window flipping me off. And I'm like, all right, well, the gloves are off next time I race you, and I hope you don't, think that I'm going to lay over for him, because that's just not going to happen. So, and, I didn't wreck him. He got wrecked down the other end. That had nothing to do with me.
Charles, my producer in Texas, co-host, has got a question for you, Thomas O Sullivan. So listen up. You're not going to be able to see him, but you can hear him here on Finish Line. Go ahead, Charles.
This isn't even much as a question as it is a statement. I didn't watch the race. This is the first time I've met Tom. I don't know the other driver, but if you bumped him and his car wasn't torn up, it just maybe put a little scratch on it. It didn't tear the fender up, and he wrecked behind you after you passed him. It ain't your fault. He just needs to learn to control his car better. That's all I got to say.
They lost their mind. Is that a nice way of saying it, Tom? They Major Tom, they lost their mind going into that third turn. They wadded them up there. I think me and Alan Dietz called 4 cars. I think 4 cars crossed the finish line. Of a 32-car field, 4 cars crossed the line. They wadded 6 or 7 up in the third turn, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't even Josh's fault. He was just, he probably would have ended up 3rd or 4th or whatever. But they wrecked alongside of him and cleaned him out. Again, there was a lot of guys chirping from Ohio saying that was my fault. And well, I mean, I moved you in 3 and 4 or 1 and 2, and you wrecked in 3 and 4.
Right.
I was, way past that. So
You had all that.
It's
You had all
unfortunate he
that
got wrecked.
distance from the backstretch. You had all that distance from the backstretch to turn number 3. It ain't like you stayed right there within their path and turned them. I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Right. And like I said, unfortunately he ended up getting tore up. Not ideal by no means. But again, that wasn't his fault. That was the other guys trying to win the race. Going in the last turn when they didn't have a shot at it. So just it was unnecessary, to be honest.
And I'll be honest as well here, Tom. A few more minutes with you. We're going to reconnect with Andy Jankowiak here in a few minutes in New York. If you're a fan of crashing and wrecks, you saw that. Am I a fan of that? No. I don't think Tom O Sullivan is. I don't think anybody that is a diehard dedicated race fan is a fan of crashing. Because deep down in my heart, Tom, for yourself and drivers and other people in this industry, I know how much money goes into these race cars. I know how much time and prep goes into these race cars. I know that sometimes things happen like the New Year's Bash did. Guys raced over their head. They tore stuff up left and right. But I don't think that's racing. I mean, I know it's a product of racing, but when you're constantly on the defensive and you're wrecking and you're tearing your cars up left and right, I mean, to me, I agree with you on that, Tom. Something's got to be done, whether it's the format, whether it's changing the format for just this race, because you've got so many different, personalities of drivers from all over the country coming to this event. Maybe there needs to be a new standard in the rule book. I'm not saying that the restart zone is the problem, because I've seen many races at Dillon Motor Speedway go where the restarts are flawless. But maybe there is a confusion because you're from Massachusetts, he's from Ohio, he's from Florida, he's from North Carolina. Maybe the rules are different on different parts of the spectrum, but definitely, you don't want to see that type of racing where guys get their cars tore all to hell. And I mean, even with you winning the race, Tom, you still had damage on your race car.
Oh yeah, the shock is bent, the upper A-arm is bent, and the ball joint's bent. It doesn't matter where you race in the country. It's just respect. That's all it is. As everybody races the same across the country, it's etiquette. You know what I'm saying? And I can get rough with the best of them if I have to. But there's no need for that. It's 100 laps. You know what I'm saying? And you kind of let some cars in there that didn't belong in there, and with provisionals and stuff like that. And if they weren't fast enough to make the race, then they shouldn't be in the race, plain and simple. So I don't know how to fix it, to be honest with you. Hopefully it'll start to mellow itself out a little bit. And then, just more give and take.
Well, I will just say this, Tom. Hopefully we will see you again at the New Year's Bash. And I hope that there are people that like Josh Way and other people that have said, I'm never going back again. I'm not going to support this race. Hopefully they've got less than a year or over a year, to reassess things, think about things, and hopefully we see them back next year as well. And hopefully there can be a little bit more better control in handling themselves, because at the end of the day, Tom, that's what I feel. A racetrack, a sanctioning body can do what they can do to enforce the rules. But at the end of the day, when you drivers get in the cockpit of those race cars, you got to race like you got some common sense. And I'm not in any way disrespecting anyone here, but as one of the guys that were in the broadcast booth and saw the shenanigans, had to call the marathon that was the New Year's Bash, I thought to myself sometimes, Tom, and not you, but man, some of these guys pulled their chin strap up a little too tight, cut off their circulation, or something's gone wrong here. You can't race that way, hands down, for sure. No doubt about it. What else are we going to see out of Tom O Sullivan in 2023, bud?
Just kind of a little bit of what we did last year. We have a bunch of good money shows around here in the Northeast. A couple $5,000 to win shows. There's a $10,000 to win show in the fall. That's for street stocks. That's huge money. So
yeah,
we're gonna just chase the money this year. We got like 6 or 7 tracks we can run with our rules package, and it's we can kind of pick and choose where we want to go. We got 4 cars between the 2 of us, me and my nephew, and that's what we're going to do. Just have fun.
I want to segue this in closing with you thanking your sponsors also, but do you think that I could be onto something there about maybe changing the format, maybe Ron Barfield getting there, rechanging the format, coming up with some type of a spinny rule, the restart box, maybe it doesn't need to be at the start-finish line or, 50 yards away from the start-finish line. Maybe it needs to be between turns number 3 and 4. Do you think that even just for this race, Tom, that's something that could possibly make the event better if it's enforced on the track side?
Yeah, you can't let the inmates run the prison. So I don't believe that starting on the front stretch is the way to go. You're drag racing. You're taking a chance of missing a shift. Initial start out of 4 at the white line, and then every other restart you start in the middle of 3 and 4, like most tracks are, and it gets rid of a lot of the crap. And then sitting people down. Like I got turned for no, he drove in there 2 car lengths deeper than he normally did and turned me around. Send him to the back. He didn't get sent to the back, so
yeah.
I got sent to the back, and I still kept my momentum forward. So. The little things like that, you got to start to clean up. If there's consequences for your actions, then maybe they'll start driving a little bit better.
Well, at the end of the day, in the words of Nelly, you are still number 1. So before I do let you go, buddy, I want you to thank your sponsors, and we appreciate you being on Finish Line, Tom. And stay in touch, man. Enjoyed your personality. Enjoyed getting to know you last week down there at Dillon. And hopefully you have a great 2023 season. We have you back here again. All the best this year.
I appreciate it. Just want to thank my sponsors, Teddy Bear Pools and Spas, Rosati Trucking, Waddell Communications, Ham Chassis, OJS, Thomas Ryland, Landscape Contractors, and all my guys that come down and help and took time off of work. We had a great time. We definitely plan on attending again, and we'll come back and try to be stronger and try to get another one.
Winner of the New Year's Bash of 2023. The driver, of course, out of Wilbraham, Massachusetts. That is, of course, Mr. Tom O Sullivan. Thanks for being on Finish Line. We go from Massachusetts up to New York. He is back to close out the show. The Buffalo Missile, Andy Jankowiak. Andy, what's up, buddy? You got video now.
I figured it out.
What did you figure out? What did you do? What did you do wrong? Was it on your end?
I just kept opening different internet apps until one of them worked. So I just copy and pasted the link, and one of them finally worked. So
okay, is it Google Chrome?
It worked. No, it's Google Chrome didn't work either. That one was that one wanted me to go in the settings and change something, and I just can't do it. I don't have the patience. So I think it's Samsung Internet or something. It's working. Who cares?
Cool. Andy, I will just ask you to do this. Can you turn yourself? Or, no, we're not going to ask you to do anything.
It's gonna work, man. Is it working?
No, it's not.
No, I'm telling you, I was playing with this. Look, it doesn't work. It just makes me a different way. This is it, buddy. This is what you got. That's it.
I just wanted to see what your I just wanted to see if you would actually do it, and if you were going to say hell no, Wesley. It took me forever to get here, and But listen, it's good to catch up with you, man. Did you have a good Christmas, good New Year's, and how did testing go for ARCA at Daytona? Getting ready for another big year for the 73 car.
No, Christmas was terrible in Buffalo. I got stuck in the snow blizzard. Almost got the car stuck. Probably one of the few times in my life I mean, it's not even funny. I was legitimately concerned for myself. So, got home and then we lost power. So I had to go to the shop, try to get a generator, and it was pretty bad. I passed by a snowplow that got stuck. So,
wow.
Survived. So that was good. It was eventful. I got my truck stuck trying to get the generator, and I had to dig it out for 2 hours with a snow brush. It was pretty dire there for a minute.
Well, I'm glad that you turned out okay for sure. ARCA testing at Daytona. Awesome. Yes, go ahead. That's what I was trying to get to. Segue to that, brother.
You had to bring up Christmas, though. No, yeah, Buffalo Christmas was bad this year. ARCA testing went great. The car had just unbelievable speed right out of the box. Huge credit to my new team, Class Motorsports, Andy Seiss, Kevin LaPierre. We have some announcements with that coming up. That probably sounds new to everybody, but we have some announcements with that coming up here very, very shortly, where we're going to make some formal announcements. But um, yeah, just great debut. Went on the track single car speed. I came on the radio and I used an obscenity on the back straightaway first time, and I never key the mic while I'm racing. I just keep my mic. This thing is fast as use your imagination. I could just hear we had 200 more RPM in single car speed, and the lap times proved it. So it was the first time that I've ever been teched in practice. Actually, ARCA, the guys came over and they started looking at the car. They checked the restrictor plate. And when it was all done, the ARCA guy, Bobby Thompson, he actually shook my hand, kind of like I just passed tech. I'm like, yay, I passed practice tech. So that was a kind of different experience. But no, it was an all around just great weekend. Working with some new people. Andy Seiss is going to be full time with us in 2023, and we had his family there, and just everything about it was just couldn't have been any better.
That's awesome, because I think it's a great story that you got a couple of modified successors like yourself, Andy J, and Andy Seiss with his credentials when he won championships in the NASCAR Will and Southern Modified Tour and more. How did this relationship come together?
It's something that's sort of been blossoming probably from the start. So the initial endeavor with Daytona, when I was looking at buying a car, the first guy I called was Andy Seiss. So he's been involved since day one, and obviously, we were shacked up in his boat shop there for a couple of years when we were in North Carolina. So
that's right.
So we spent a lot over there, and he's been very involved to start. Kevin LaPierre, I got us our sponsor for Talladega, my second year. He's very 1.5 when they're right there, 1.5 and then he's involved with Dax Markets. Everything's backwards on this camera. It's so weird. Like it's on this side, but it looks like it's on this side. Whatever. Sure. So Kevin's been involved from very, very early on. He was instrumental in getting us Phillips 66 when we had them on for a little bit. So it was something where Kevin wanted to be involved as a car owner, and it was just a matter of kind of getting to that point. And I obviously I had what I was doing, and I just kind of kept going the way I was going for as long as I could. And last year was pretty difficult for me, and the whole team. It was really a struggle. We crashed a couple times, and we started really falling behind on some of the work, and we were making a lot of mistakes. So it was time to evolve and time to do things a little bit differently. And this is something that Kevin's always wanted to do. So it allows me to kind of take a step back and kind of focus on my role as a driver. And, now with having Andy Seiss involved and Kevin involved, they sort of check a lot of boxes that I probably would be checking in the past, where, now I can sort of be someone that's helping with the car and helping with everything else. But that it doesn't end with me. You know what I mean? I have people to fall back on, people to rely on. So I think just as far as where I need to be as a driver, I think my mental state and everything else, just the amount of stress and everything that goes into getting that car to the track every week, whether it be the marketing side of it, the PR side of it, the mechanical side of it, and then the driving side of it, I can kind of condense that and make it more manageable.
Yeah, hands down. And by the way, what were you, 7th in the top 10? You were in the top 10 in the practice for ARCA testing. And I gotta give it to the girls real quickly. Tony Brenninger and Amber Balkin, 1 and 2 when ARCA testing concluded. I mean, that's got to be a obviously, some of them were in Bill Venturini Motorsports cars, obviously, hands down. It's like I tell people, Venturini's like the Hendrick of ARCA. But with that being said, though, Andy, to have females at the top of the board at Daytona for practice, that's got to be pretty damn cool.
Yeah, so we did all our drafting on Friday, and I was working pretty close with the Gibbs guys there. They towed me to a fast lap, and then I got in front of them, and I actually pulled him to his fast lap, and that was my fast lap, which is the second fastest lap of the Friday test. And then we were kind of packed up on Saturday, and the Venturini team, obviously, they have 4 cars working together, and they went out and they kind of did their own thing, and they got right to us on speed. So it was sort of a different test because this is our first test where we're allowed to use bump stops. So it kind of seemed like everybody unloaded a little bit differently, and I was kind of paying attention to, you can kind of tell by the way the front valences are built on the cars as to what philosophy they're going with. And I think we just really hit it just perfectly. Like right away, we were good. And I could see a lot of the other teams were going for stopping the car a little bit sooner, which seemed to be what the Venturinis were doing. And it seemed like the first day they were struggling. They weren't quite there on the speed charts. So, but obviously they got a lot of smart guys over there, and I'm sure they got to where they were more happy with the cars, and obviously the speed showed on the second day. So. We probably started out probably closer than most teams, and probably as the test went on, a lot of teams caught up. But I'm still very, very encouraged by where we were and how the car felt and how it sucked up, and it just seemed like I could do whatever I wanted out there. I could lay back 20 car lengths and run a pack down. So, I think we have as good of a car as any, and I had a couple meetings with some of the guys over at Gibbs. We were talking a little bit, and hopefully we can. Because they don't have a lot of cars on the track for teammates and all that. So hoping we can kind of get together a little bit. And we know the Venturinis work well together, so we got to kind of get our own groups going. So I want to be aggressive this year. I don't know. Not a lot of people, have an opportunity to go to Daytona with a car that has a shot to win. And we were probably there last year. We weren't really aggressive enough, and I think we got a better car this year from what I see in testing. So, we'll see. I want to be aggressive though. If I think I'm going to finish 5th, I'll go for a W and take a chance on finishing 10th. That's I think that's what we got to do. How many chances you're going to get.
Charles, what you got for our buddy Andy Jankowiak, the Buffalo Missile, here on Finish Line?
First off, I'm just glad we finally got him on here. And second, I like the spirit and the attitude. That's me. If I got a chance to go for the win, and it might cost me to go back to somewhere further back, I'm going to do it. I'm going for the win. And it sounds like he's got some calls coming in, so he's probably pretty popular.
Do not answer that. Do not get us disconnected again, Andy.
No, it's my flip phone. We're good.
Oh, it's your damn flip phone.
I'm on a tablet.
So when I texted you last night, that's your flip phone, right?
Yeah, of course it is. I don't have a real phone.
Gotcha.
I won't do it.
Yeah, Turbo Tyler Herb just sent me a message, by the way, as well. Yeah, we got to get him on Finish Line. By the way, World of Outlaw Late Model Series, they fire up, yes, this weekend, the Sunshine Nationals. Racing starts tomorrow. Check it out on Dirt Vision. But, Andy, in 2000, was it, Charles, what was it? Was it last year? 2001? 2002? You were one of our most one of our most requested return guests for Finish Line. You're always asked to come back. The people love your personality. My producers always say that they just enjoy the conversations that you have. People don't realize how long me and you go back. I butchered the hell out of your name about 10 years ago.
Oh, you were the worst ever. You were the king.
I can't confirm that is true. They requested you over Wesley.
You made up vowels and syllables that don't even exist. Don't even exist. The noises you were making.
People are just, and I got people all over the place. Bob Dillner, Ralph Shaheen, Mike Ray. So, Jan Co. People are calling me. Leave me alone. I'm on the air.
It's all there. I'm not tricking anybody. You just got to be patient. It's all there. You just got to. Jankowiak. It's all there. There's no tricks.
I kept butchering. I called you Jankowski, Jankowiak. John
I
Conasac,
think
whatever the hell I
Jankowiak
called
was the
you.
best. It was Jankowiak.
Jankowiak. Jankowiak. Oh, man. So anyhow, Charles, listen, and I don't know if I've ever said this before on the show. I butchered the hell out of his name at Orange County Speedway. And then we go to the next race at Carteret County, and it was a big modified show. I'm checking into the hotel on a Friday night. It's late because I came in from out of town, and so had Andy Jankowiak. And so he's outside. I'm on the phone. I pull into the hotel, getting ready to check in. He recognizes my voice. And he's like, hey, you, Mr. Announcer Man, I know who you are. Come here. I'm gonna. Andy's like, I'm gonna teach you how to say my name. And ever since then, I think
Yeah,
that
dude, you don't
I
even
got it right.
understand that whole week. So, I mean, everyone was back home watching that because obviously we were in North Carolina, so most people didn't make the trip, and it was just like people were like throwing stuff at the TV. Just I heard about that for like weeks. Like, you gotta find that guy. Hey, it
Yes.
sparked a beautiful friendship. So
It has
it
started a
sparked a
beautiful
beautiful friendship.
friendship. It
Yep.
certainly has, man, for sure. Hey, indoor racing, can we talk about that real quickly? How's that? How's the area indoor racing series been for you this year?
We got one in. Allentown was I think we probably had we had a really good car. I think we probably actually had the best car, and we just didn't get the job done, so it was a
Okay.
little frustrating. I pulled off on my white flag lap for qualifying. In the race. I was kind of trying to be patient, and then we kind of got stuck in the wrong lines, and I couldn't make anything work. So, we were going back and forth between Charlotte and Daytona. I had a lot on my mind, obviously, and
Sure.
with the Buffalo Blizzard and everything. I mean, we were probably a little wore out. So I think we're gonna go to Atlantic City a little bit better, and I was frustrated after that race, and I went back and watched the video, and all I can really say is it just honest to God, I think we had the best car, and the guy that won the race, Anthony Cecily, he just outdrove me. He ran a great race. I spent 20 laps kind of working him a little bit. I think we were quicker, and when I did get my chances, I mean, he just battled back. So you got to hand it to him. He was in the right line when the outside line took off, and I was still on the bottom, and he just hustled. So he ran a great race, and he earned that one. So. But hopefully we'll be a little bit more ready in Atlantic City, and we'll go get them there.
So, Andy, I got to ask you, buddy, are you still delivering pizzas, man? Obviously, everybody knows that that's where you come from with building your racing career. Are you full-time in the sport now, or are you delivering pizzas?
I left, so I was supposed to fly home from Daytona because they wanted me to work the Bills game, and I lost my wallet. So we
Oh.
got in a car. We left Daytona at 2 in the afternoon Saturday, stopped in Statesville, unloaded the car. By 6:30, I was at work 10:30 Sunday morning for the Bills game.
Wow.
And it was incredibly slow, and I made no money, so that was pointless. But it is what it is. No, we still work. I have reduced my schedule. Actually, just this past week, I'm down to 3 days over there. So typically, what I'll do now, instead of I had been rescheduling 5 days a week every time I'm on the road, but now I'm rescheduling 3, and I always give them a big heads up. And like I say, the owner of Bob and John's La Hacienda, he's become a huge fan of my racing. He attends a lot of races, so pretty much as long as I can get someone to show up for my shifts, they don't mind what I do. So they're very understanding in that regard. And, they know I'm out here trying to do something cool. But at the same time, when I am back home, it is a source of income, and obviously, I still got to live. So
Chasing your dreams.
it works really good. Yeah, it works really good. And there's not a lot of employment opportunities that exist that are going to let me take off for a month when I got to take off for a month. You know what I mean? Like I say, when we crashed at Pocono in July last year, I pretty much called work and said, "You ain't going to see me till September." Because we wrecked that car, and then we had Watkins Glen coming up and Bristol, and I just threw a wrench in the whole thing, and I just said, like, this is what I'm doing. I got to
Yeah,
focus.
you had to
So
thrash. You had to thrash to get the car fixed, right? I mean, you're not like
yeah,
Venturini that's got 10 cars in the shop in Charlotte. You've got like 1 or 2 cars, if one car, and that's it.
yeah, no, and it's just but like I say, they're very cool about that, and like I say, I do like having a source of income, obviously, and honestly, it's I love going to work. I really do. Even if I could work my way around it, I'd probably still go to work. A lot of my friends are there, and it's fun just to kind of go back there, and everyone. I walked in the other day, and everyone pats me on the back, says great job at Daytona, and then it's just I'm right back to being a pizza guy. Okay, go grab dough from the cooler now, get to work, so it's just right back to normal. So it's nice to kind of have two separate realities, I guess. And, like I said, I like being there. A lot of my best friends are there, and it kind of keeps me a little bit more even sometimes, lets me get away from it all.
Andy, I got one more question for you, and we got to get off the air because I know you got a busy schedule up in New York. Our time's grown short. Me and Charles have got to at least get that one little rant segment out of the way for him because I know he's on his soapbox and he definitely wants to get the word out, and I'm going to let him do it. My final question is this. A couple of weeks ago, they announced Ryan Preece full-time in the NASCAR Cup Series. What he's done in the modifieds, what you have done in the modifieds in your career besides what you're doing in ARCA. Does that make you believe that the great American dream is still alive out there where you can be able to go after this dream that you want to be a full-time NASCAR Cup Series racer one day because of looking at something like you've done in ARCA, Andy, or what Ryan Preece has now been able to do in NASCAR? What's your take of that? If there's a young driver, boy or girl, tuned in here on Finish Line, listening, watching the replay, and they're on the fence of wanting to go after their dreams or career of being a race car driver.
Well, I'm gonna be very careful not to compare myself to Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece is just, I mean, he's probably just raw talent wise, he's probably probably the best out of all of us coming out of the modifieds. I think that's probably fair to say. But um, probably the biggest thing that you could probably compare maybe what I did and what Ryan did is if someone does ask me, the one thing I always say is that they ain't gonna come find you. Um, you gotta open your own doors, and you gotta make your own opportunities. And that famous quote from Alan Kowicki, when nobody reached out to me to join a team, I set out to make my own opportunity.
That's right.
So I think you have to, where me and Ryan are maybe a little bit similar. We created opportunities, and obviously there's still, you still need a ton of help, obviously, to make that happen. But everything that I'm getting to enjoy and experience on my end kind of is, it all started with that initial initiative where I went after the Ken Schrader car. And once I kind of took that first step, then I started getting more and more people involved that were willing to help out, and uh, people I never expected. I swear I only planned on doing one race, and it just got to be where we had so many people that were trying to help me and get involved, and it just made it. I mean, how could you say no at that point? So,
Right.
I am so lucky that I get to do all this. I mean, it's still just unbelievable. When I think about the fact that we've run like 15 ARCA races now, and it was never, ever, ever something that I thought was going to happen, or my plan, or I didn't have this grand scheme. It was just something that we had a little bit of good fortune, and then we got that car from Kenny, and then we got a little bit of good fortune with practice where we got a little bit of attention. Then we had a good run in the race, and it was one thing after another, and it just kind of snowballed. And the only thing I ever did was just sort of embrace my good luck and try to make the best out of it. And I'm sitting here, and I have this wonderful race team and all these wonderful sponsors and all these people that are excited about what we're doing. And I'm doing interviews with you guys and going to Daytona, and we're second fast on the practice charts, and it's unbelievable. It's been life changing. It's been life affirming. It's everything that I've ever wanted to do in my entire life. I'm getting to do it right now, and um, I don't know how else to say it other than I'm just so lucky. I really am. And I'm fortunate, and I'm just grateful that through it all and all the years that I spent not really knowing how to get here or if this is ever going to happen, that I'm one of the people that gets to experience their dream, and making the most of it right now.
Well, buddy, I'll tell you what, in closing, and I know I always say this to you, but I know I don't have to worry about it at all. Never forget where you come from, and I don't think you ever will. You're so damn humble and kind in what you've done in your aspirations and your dreams of having this career that you have now. And, I got a feeling you're going to make it up to another higher level than even ARCA one day with your personality and just your drive and your spunk and your energy. Just don't change who you are. Because the person of who you are, Andy, is the reason why you're loved by so many people, not only in Buffalo and Tonawanda, New York, but all over the country. For sure. Definitely, man. Keep up the great work and all that you do, Andy J.
Thank you, Wesley. I love you, buddy.
I love you too, man. Hey, sponsors. Thank your sponsors, bud.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so we got Wheelan Engineering Company. They're coming back on board. We're going to have some formal announcements coming up there. Florida Safety Systems, Automotive Consultants of Ithaca. My friend Bill Card, if you need a car, call him. We got Yukon Creek Sportsman Club, Planter Box Direct, Thermal Foams, Pinnacle Travel Staffing, MikeSellsGolfCarts.com. Jesus, I know I'm going to forget a couple. I should be better at this by now. We got B1 Fiber. Everyone on my team at Class Motorsports, Dax Markets, it's like I say, I couldn't. There's 1,000 people, and I need every single one of them to make this work. So, thank you so much to everybody that kind of does this for me. Getting ready to roll.
No doubt about it, man. Thank you so much, Andy J. I love you, brother. Be safe out there. Stay warm up in New York. And I'll bring some of that warm weather up from North Carolina up that way to you, my friend. Have fun at Daytona.
Thank you, brother. Love you again. Thank you.
Andy Jankowiak, ladies and gentlemen, ready to close out finish line here. All right, so Charles, I know you don't want to do a rant segment, but I do want to bring you on here real quickly. Can I at least just get 1 minute, 2 minutes of your time to tell me how you feel about being trolled by what in the hell have you done?
I was a screen within a screen.
Oh, wow. It looked like I had eyes looking at me like when Transformers pop into the box here.
As you can see, my light went out, and I don't know where the cable is because I run battery, so it's really dark in here now, and I have lights on.
Yeah, you're in the dark. The lights are on, and you still look dark. I look brighter than you do.
Yes, I'm in a very dark room. I'm in a dark.
It's the wonder of the chroma key, right? Does the chroma key put off bright lights? What is it like? Nobody puts baby in the corner.
No. Well, I usually have over 1,200 LEDs on my face, and I have 0 right now, so it's very dark.
Well, anyhow, what is your? I'll give you 2 minutes, and then we get off the air because I know we were strict on our time, but I wanted to get. And you know that, Charles. We wanted to get Andy Jankowiak on the show. Andy's just an awesome guy. Great personality. Always fun to cut up with. I think he's probably one of the longest returning guests we've had on Finish Line, even multiple times throughout the year. I've always enjoyed talking with Andy Jankowiak. So, and we've got that special bond there where I butchered the hell out of his name and back at Orange County. And now, I could say it perfectly inside and out. So, not been able to say Tonawanda, his hometown, perfectly, so I just call him the Buffalo Missile. But flagged on YouTube and iRacing and NASCAR. Charles, 2 minutes. Why are you mad?
Oh, see, I'm not even mad. I'm happy. Like, I think it's awesome.
It's an honor, right? It's an honor.
Yeah, we have such a high quality broadcast in 4K. Again, the only 4K broadcast that iRacing, or I guess not iRacing had nothing to do with it, but our iRacing stream is so crystal clear and looks so good that the bots at YouTube thought it was an actual, NASCAR stream that they did from a NASCAR practice. Well, one, we talked about earlier, YouTube bots apparently can't tell a super late model from a truck. So that's one reason. Two, I'm flattered that, they think we're a real NASCAR, race. So, that's pretty cool. I do like that. So I'm more flattered and honored, and I posted on Facebook, you've made it as an iRacing broadcaster, when your stream looks so good that it gets flagged because I think it's a real NASCAR event. So, I'm more flattered and honored. I think I'm going to make a plaque and hang it on my wall.
I'll tell you, for sure. And I know a couple of those guys at NASCAR Media Group. Maybe I could try to reach out to one of them and say, hey, this is naughty here. Well, why are you blocking somebody here? They didn't do nothing wrong.
We get the liberty. We get to dispute it. So I disputed it, and I told them that they were naughty, and they shouldn't be blocking our content. Especially one that was a good race. And I put in the thing when I did my dispute, I said, this is a super late model on iRacing, not a truck in real life.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I believe it said like something, GT. So I'm assuming it's the Grander Truck Series is what it was. I don't know. I forgot who the sponsor is.
NASCAR Outdoor Gander Truck Series.
Yeah.
It's Craftsman now, so.
Yeah, so it was quite a while, because it was NOGTS. So that would be the outdoor camping
or
track,
NGO, NASCAR Gander Outdoor Truck Series.
Yeah, that's what it was. So it looked like Nagats or something. I don't know, but anyway. Yeah. So
when you sent me the video and I seen it this morning. Before I went to sleep, it said something in regards of the NASCAR Gander Outdoor Truck Series Martinsville practice session. So it was something involved in a practice that was at Martinsville.
And I mentioned it's literally like 40 seconds is all that they flagged it for. There was 40 seconds that I guess the camera angle was the same or close to it, and they thought cars were going around the track. They thought it was their truck race. Trucks have the little fin things on the back, I guess, so do super late models, but,
you mean spoilers?
Spoilers, but a car looks like this. Let's give a demonstration. A car, it has a hood that goes, then a windshield, and then it tapers back. A truck goes, whoop, ding. So, they don't look anything the same, but whatever, again, I'm flattered. I'm not even upset about it.
Well, we go on to the next one for sure. Charles, cue up our music, bud. Let's get out of here. Hey, what you got coming up on Press Box Motorsports podcast show on Sunday, my friend?
Well, now it's just going to be all about talking about how flattered we are. I think we're going to be talking about the 24-hour race.
Daytona?
That iRacing is doing.
Okay.
We may bring up we're going to go ahead and say it, the Monster Games whole debacle. We talked about it a little bit. We may bring that back a little bit too.
Okay.
Again, that's all unconfirmed. We're basing it off of insider.com, our InsideGaming.com's website. They're the ones releasing all this. We don't fact check it, so we don't know if it's true or not.
Sure.
But, rumors have it their employees are going after them. Now there's a lawsuit.
Oh, you're talking about
them.
motorsports. You're talking about motorsports games. The people that took the IndyCar.
Yes.
They took the IndyCar, the rights away from iRacing.
So now
that sounds like it's going downhill.
Yeah, the latest thing is now somebody is actually threatening to release their source code for making their games if they don't get paid. That's the latest rumor going around. So, a lot of drama going on over there.
And, of course, we'll talk about that. Hey, next week I will let you know. We'll definitely have on Ryan Millington, late model racer in the Carolinas. Told him at testing at Florence the other week ago I'd love to get him on the program. We might preview the icebreaker, what he's going to do and more. Keely Dubinsky, okay? So Dell Jr., Jeff Burton, Kevin Harvick, and Justin Marks' second-hand lady. The lady that is keeping them in line and helping just operate this well-oiled machine with them. Long-time marketing director of operations, Keely Dubinsky of the Cars Tour, will be joining us on Finish Line next week. I do know that much. Thank you to our guests. Logan Seavey, congratulations to him winning the Chili Bowl. Unfortunately, he was not able to be on today. I'll reach out to him. We'll find out something. Maybe we'll reschedule him again next Wednesday. Maybe he had something come up, prior commitment. Maybe we need to do a different time change for him. Well, Logan Seavey, congrats on winning the Chili Bowl. Michael Atwell, Andy Jankowiak, Greg Peterson, Tom Sullivan, Tom O Sullivan. All of those great guests, everybody that was on the program. Charles, always fun working with you as well, my friend.
Oh, fun to work with you as too. Well,
we always, Doctor, get your lights fixed. Get your lights fixed.
I need to.
That's going to do it for Finish Line on this Wednesday, January the 18th. Fox Sports Radio with the Carolinas. Community Radio Network, 87.9 FM, iHeartRadio Sports. YouTube, Facebook, LSRTV, Rocket Racing Media, and for everybody tuning in. For, of course, Charles Wooten, Jeff Stabnow, James Vining, the Cat Man. We're going to get him in the box eventually. I'm Wesley Outland. Be good to one another. God bless you all. Thanks for tuning in. We'll do Finish Line next Wednesday.
Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.